They skipped my daughter's birthday. 2 days later, they sent me a payment request for $2,850, my share of a family cruise I never knew about. I didn't argue. I sent back $1.50 with 3 words, "Not on board." That was the last time I played along with their version of family. Emily turned 11 last week. She wore her favorite purple hoodie, grinned at the cake, held up 2 hands like a countdown to her teenage years. My wife, Melissa, posted photos. Not one call. Not a text. Not even an emoji from my parents or my 4 sisters. 2 days later, the Venmo request arrived, captioned, "Group share for family cruise." My hands shook. The profile photo showed them smiling in front of a Caribbean ship, my parents, sisters, their spouses, their kids, while my daughter blew out candles in a quiet living room. I didn't yell. I didn't send a rant. I simply locked every shared account, bank access, cloud drives, travel apps, even the family tax folder. Gone. Then I fired off one email to the bank, cancel every linked card. Minutes later, my mom called 10 times in a row. When I didn't answer, she called Melissa. Then the texts came, pictures from the cruise, a group selfie captioned, "We wish you were here," and a final message, "This is a family matter. Don't destroy us over one trip." One trip. That's what they called it. But it wasn't a trip. It was a choice. They left our daughter out on purpose. I knew it the night Melissa whispered, "They planned this." And I believed her. Invitations had been sent. RSVPs confirmed. But when the day came, they weren't sick, busy, or out of town. They were on a ship, smiling for photos, while Emily celebrated with a neighbor kid and her best friend. The next morning, my father emailed me. The subject line read, "Let's be civil." His message was worse. He claimed the cruise had been spontaneous, a discounted deal they couldn't pass up. Spotty cell service, bad timing, vague apologies, no real regret. Just control. The kind of language you use when you're managing fallout, not apologizing for causing it. Later that day, my sister Mara left a small gift bag on our porch, no knock, no explanation. Inside was a glittery pen, a keychain shaped like a cruise ship, and a $50 gift card. The envelope said, "Sorry we missed it. Love you forever." Nothing from my parents. Nothing from the others. I tossed the card in the trash. Melissa pretended not to see. That night, Emily found the bag. She beamed, clutching the keychain like treasure. "Aunt Mara says they'll take me next time," she said. Melissa froze. I just nodded and told Emily we'd talk later. But the storm wasn't over. Days passed. Silence thickened. Then came a new letter, old business contracts, notes from my father, and a sticky note, "Let's talk before things get messy." They weren't apologizing. They were protecting their access, to money, to property, to me. So, I ended it. I started separating every financial tie. Projects, accounts, leases, everything. My father called, asking if I was willing to blow up everything we built over a child's birthday. I hung up. That night, Emily climbed into our bed and whispered, "Grandma said you're just mad because you weren't invited." That's when I knew, they were already trying to turn her against me. Weeks later, things got quiet. Too quiet. Then came the final push, a legal threat from my sister claiming equity in a project she'd never touched. Followed by a package for Emily with a card. "Never forget where you come from." They were using her, again, to pull me back. I didn't break. But Emily surprised me. One night, she handed me a note from her sketchbook. In her handwriting, "I think they want you to hate them forever. Don't let them win." Maybe she was right. Maybe this wasn't about revenge anymore. So, I agreed to meet my parents. They offered a proposal, signed terms for boundaries, visits, and financial independence. No lawsuits. No threats. Just a desperate truce. I signed, not for them, but for Emily. Because forgiveness isn't weakness. It's control. Months passed. Things calmed. Until an envelope arrived from an Arizona lawyer. My uncle had left me land, 53 acres worth of fortune. My father had tried to contest the will. Quietly. Secretly. It failed. I stood on that land days later, staring at a small wooden cabin. Inside, carved into the beam, was a single name, Emily. My uncle never met her. But somehow, he left her something anyway. I called my father one last time. Told him I knew. He said, "It would have been wasted on you." I hung up and decided, this land, this gift, goes to Emily when she turns 18. What she builds, or burns, is up to her. Because in the end, some people don't change. They just run out of ways to pretend.